Hey everybody, welcome to the Industrial Industrial Strength Podcast. Yeah,
It is hard to say sometimes.
It is very hard to say. Everything's very hard today. So, pun intended. We'll go with that. So, my name is Randy. I am one of the three co-hosts on this show. But today is a special episode. We have one of our guests returning to us, Steve. Right. That is introducing my two co-hosts, Jeff and other Steve.
And Steve 1 and Steve 2. Run with it again. Thank you for having me, guys. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Well, welcome back.
Yeah, I remember we had a great talk last time you were on. So I am fully down. Yeah. This is like the highlight of my day, talking to you. I was looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, continuing part two, because there's just so much to talk about with even your side of the house and my side of the house. Well, what's going to be the rest of my side of the house with the Pyrophorics and energetic materials is just, it's wild and it's very unique and rare going for that. So we'll just keep on going, run with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things, and I didn't have a picture for it, but a lot of people don't realize is, some of these Pyrophorics is hydrogen based, and when you look at like silane, SiH4, and you look at arsine, the arsenic with the hydrogen together, is that hydrogen in its own state is pretty unstable. We know that. That's a common fact. Highly flammable, highly reactive, but it doesn't help with adding all this other stuff into it and the toxicity that comes off onto it. I mean, I think the arsine together, the threshold limit value is like 1 or 2 parts per million. It's very low for being highly toxic and hurting people, down the road. But trying to see where we want to go with this today is that, it's like, well, why are you using that in your field? And so when you look at semiconductor field, you're looking at the computer chips. You're looking at how they're being made and things like that. Intel, my job, other companies across the they have the same type of markup, just in different steps. And, for some of the first early steps of like getting a blank silicone wafer is just the etching part. So you have like the corrosives and mixes together, and it mixes the etching part. You have your slurries with the chemical and mechanical processing and the polishing, and then after that you're baking everything in pyrophoric gases. And one of the nice things is that they preferably like using these silanes and other silicone-based pyrophorics, is because when it is baking, it's actually putting a nice clear coat onto it from the silicone. So not only is great, but we're running up to 1,800 to 2,200 degrees. So something's going to go bad. It's going to go bad real fast.
Right.
So it's and a lot of people are very scared to work with it. But if you understand it, you understand the chemistry, and you treat it as if it can kill you, you're safe. Hopefully.
Yeah.
But one of the things, too, is that, with the transportation, you're like, okay, well, that's my world. That's our world, right? The industrial world. But in between that, we have the transportation world where this stuff is going throughout my whole state to get to me. And so if we can pull up that one truck picture, because that's going to have that's going to easy 5 minutes right there, just talking about that truck picture and how it's being delivered.
So most of your stuff comes through truck and not train?
Yeah, all truck, no train.
Okay.
Yeah, years ago it did. We did have a line that actually went right to our site, and they abandoned it. Yeah, right. Number 1 and 2, both.
I know, like from our side of things, we're mixed modal. We get a majority of things coming in by truck. 80% bulk liquid.
And that's interesting. And you're offloading right from the rail cars, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So that's even more of a hazard, because you don't have a designated rail car for your area. You could be getting a rail car that came from another site that they had problems with.
Yes.
Going to yours, and that is a common problem, actually. Getting containers in there.
Any of them? Oh yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. GTX, I think, right? Probably a leasing company. Yeah.
You have a leasing company, but we don't use GTX.
Yeah.
Yeah.
this first picture here is how they come in. They come in kind of like a rack storage, and sometimes they offload them. Yeah, and you can see the blue bottles. They've got a nice little case onto it. And not too bad. And, they're clearly marked. Bobby, if we can go to the actual truck picture itself, I'm looking for the sidewall vent. Is they're not transported in normal trucking, like aluminum siding and things like that, or however, there actually is a vinyl tarp on both sides.
Oh, like a blow-up wall?
Yeah. Yeah. And there's actually
I think we started talking about that last time, and we got cut short.
We did. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I'll describe it. Because this picture, it just picture a box truck and it's got vinyl siding on it. And if you're a first responder, you're like, okay, I don't know what this stuff is. Do we want to open the back up? Well, how about this? There's actually walking stairs to the front of the cab, right? There's stairs off to the side. And if you're sure, if you think something's in there, you actually take your meter to the porthole and see if there's anything venting into there. Home run. So the part where you're getting a little ahead of myself too is all those lithium ion battery waste that's in the cell blocks. That would be a perfect truck for this because it's venting to air, not building up inside the trailer.
Yeah, that would be perfect.
Yeah. I apologize. I thought I had the picture here, but and that's fine. It's able to vent out and have no issues. I mean, given this particular one, if there is issues, it's going to be on fire. So you're going to kind of know when there's like bad things happening. But there was a picture of a valve, and again, I don't know what Bobby had or not, and the first generation valves. You got another one there?
That is an impressive valve.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I can't even talk to that one because that's actually sketchy as shit. We were trying to,
that's what we deal with.
Complicated and sketchy. Perfect.
Ooh. Yeah.
Get on a level A and touch some stuff.
So if you're able to, and I know we can't zoom in on this, that actually was a trichlorosilane bottle and someone handwritten dichlorosilane. It's a liquid.
Gosh.
It's a liquid, yeah. And I said, well, that's not good. Yeah, that's not too good. And we ended up having to treat. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, it's handwritten. And you're like,
oh my gosh,
what a-hole would do? Yeah, and it was just left there abandoned. Yeah, so when it comes to these things, I'm that guy. That's like, okay, I got to figure this out. So when you look at the chemistry, it's not too far off. And this is how I really got into silane, understanding it, is that when this stuff is being made, it's when it's formed together to form all the bonds and everything, it's actually trichlorosilane because they use hydrochloric acid. Yeah, they use that as the base and they bring it together. So when they want to make like disilane and just regular silane, they remove the chloride, right?
Yep.
So,
yep.
Yeah, and so chemistry is not too far if it's going to have the same reaction. Let's remove this bottle and hopefully someone purged it. One bottle's on a nitro blanket, the other one isn't. So when I say shady as shit, it's shady as shit. And we had to do a lot of risk assessment to make sure that we were spot on, because if we're wrong, someone gets hurt. And that's a big part of my job, is make sure that no one gets hurt. And we ended up getting rid of it, no problems. And we actually found a cleaning company that would take it, which was pretty impressive because no one wants this shit. Yeah, no one wants it. Especially if it's got handwritten letters on it.
At that point, they assumed it's some sort of like homebrew concoction.
Yeah, you get to the point where you're like, and everyone else is like, we're not touching it, Steve. Good luck. But it's interesting just all the things you find, and when you see certain chemistries, and everybody's like, oh my god. Where it's us, we're like, okay, show me more. We can do this. We understand this part. And this, again, the difference between the outside world and the inside world with us, right?
Yes,
absolutely.
We were so used to these chemicals, we know it. And I don't want to say we're not complacent, is that we know what they can do and what they can't do. And I think that's a big part of the industrial side. Yeah.
Well, right. I think, like for us, if you've been in our shop for a long enough time, you see a wide range of things. The longer you're on, the harder it is to like flap you and shake your confidence, because you just the stuff we have is, once again, we have a wide variety of things, and we train on a bunch of things, and we drill, and we have a bunch of calls, and it's not that we're not safe, but I mean, sometimes corporate policy screws us over,
Yes.
with our shipping department, they're forced to accept anything that comes on 4 wheels.
Yep.
And so it doesn't matter if it's leaking, smoking, whatever, we're forced to accept it, and then it's in our warehouse. And it becomes...
Yep.
It's no different, actually. I just haven't had any issues like that.
We do.
Knock on wood, yeah.
We do on the regular, man.
Yep.
Yeah, that actually, I've never had something like that. It's been everywhere, everything else.
Okay.
So...
lucky you. Maybe one day we can trade some stories, but that's like one of our
25 years
biggest source of problem children. Receiving
Absolutely,
stuff that's...
and I'm going on 25 years of even my job, and like altogether being in that profession. There are tons of stories like going on. I'm just giving you Pyrophorics. I can go on to etch and say, we can go into other worlds at that point, right? So.
Oh, sure. I'm sure.
Yeah, the interesting thing too is, you're looking at metering for this stuff, and you're like, okay, if it's on fire, how are you metering it? But I've actually read manuals, SDSs, that there's some meters that can pick up silane and Pyrophorics, and I'm like, okay, we're looking for maybe the aftermath and the vapor, or we're looking for because there is, with certain, even though if it's compressed gas, you're still going to have residue. And is it the vapor of the residue from the silicone? So I'm thinking it's that, and I actually think maybe Draker has it, being one of them. So it's, but definitely your thermal imaging camera is going to take a key play into these. Any type of compressed air bottle that's leaking, absolutely.
Yes.
We actually brought out today the acoustic wave emitter. They're not the meter, the meter itself. We were using that for tracking a leak. Yeah, that was amazing. So I have pictures of that. I could send it to you on the email. That was really cool. Yeah, and I've been dying to just break this thing out and try it. I couldn't wait for there to be a toxic gas leak to bring this thing out and try it.
Now, how big of a meter is that one for you guys? Like,
it's actually
is it a big box?
No, it actually looks like a tick. The guy carries around, and there's like a battery pack. It's plugged in. This mod, we have 2 of them, and it looks just like a normal tick. It's just black. Yeah.
Huh. All right. Interested to see that one.
Yeah, and so matter of fact, I'm going to send it in to the guys who do our PowerPoints for the state and just say, hey, you want to add this, because they have like a picture of not being used. We actually showed it being used and actually picking up the gas leak with it, even if no matter what it was. Yeah, and you have gas flows. It's the newer version of taking a stethoscope to the pipe, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think we have things similar to that at work, but we don't use it for emergency response. We typically have it mechanical integrity. So
Yes. Yep.
pressure, vibration, and stuff like that. And it's not as small as what you're describing.
No, that's what the one we're used to is a kind of like a big black box, almost like a suitcase to carry around.
Yes.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Well, I'm interested to see a smaller version of it.
I don't know how well you could be able to see this on the screen, but I'll put it as close as I can to the camera and stop somewhat being crazy understanding where the camera is and while I'm upside down. Nope, that's not working at all. There we go.
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah, so very small.
Exactly like a tick. Okay.
Yeah, and you can see where the green spot is. That's where the gas is flowing.
Oh, man. Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Took me a second orientation. Oh, yeah, I'm backwards. Yeah. So I know we'll pay for that one later. Someone's going to see this episode and be like, Steve, what, you understand how a video works opposite? Yeah. So.
Yeah, we don't
still
either,
learning
let's
that
be
one.
honest.
Yeah, we're still learning.
It's all good. It's all good. Hey, as long as I can make fun of myself, right?
Just tell me you're used to doing it inside of a level A. It's completely opposite. It's all good.
Yeah. I wouldn't even say that. I wouldn't even go that far. Level B. Yeah, level A is far and few between these days. So, but yeah, that kind of sums it up with the Pyrophorics. Is the biggest thing is the hydrogen. And do you guys have hydrogen at your site, liquid or
yes,
compressed?
we do.
We do.
We do hydrogenation, so we have raw hydrogen gas.
We actually get it in by the semi trailer full.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
have
okay.
it piped right into our stations.
Yeah, okay. So many years ago, there's another guy that works with Bobby. We used to respond to stack fires all the time when it was we had multiple liquefied tanks. And that's what kind of got me thinking about the Pyrophorics and how reactive it is and everything like that. And it's pretty cool to see at night blue flames shooting out of the stack, right?
Definitely attention getting.
we did training for the state, and I had them come down to understand. And the focus was doing hydrogen and understanding the properties and how you're going to see it on the meter. That's very important. How you're going to see it on the meter if you have a leak, because it's pretty obvious. You just don't know what's happening unless someone tells you, right?
Sure.
But put the thermal imaging camera to the stack. Even if it's during the daytime, it burns clear, right?
Yeah.
That's how I tell you. And I even show them, I'm like, listen, when you look at that stack, it's black. It's not so stainless steel for going on. So you know that there's been issues in the past, and that's a good indication when you go into these sites, or even outside responders assisting, saying, okay, this could be an issue. And I know that, I want to say maybe it was last year somewhere near Rochester, is that an outside agency hazmat responded to a stack fire. They didn't know what was going on until Air Products or a different company says, no, that's kind of normal. We're okay. You can pack your stuff and go home. It's fine. Yeah. But, how would they know, right? They're just acting. They see fire and flames coming out of hydrogen. And you're like, holy shit, this could screw up the town.
Go boom.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So-
it's not a pretty sight when hydrogen causes an explosion. I can tell you that.
No, not at all. And we can go so many different versions with this, and what the hydrogen that's being used, even in our state, is that we're having factories use hydrogen forklifts, and that's becoming a really big in New York right now.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Yeah. So one of the other state guys and myself, and we're working on it's called the green hydrogen, and we're trying to get understanding is that they're actually making hydrogen in some of these factories. It's actually have a heat exchanger there. They plug in, they derive it through electrolysis and water.
Yeah.
And it's just been impossible to get into these sites because they're highly secured. So
Sure,
if you're
I
a
can
stranger,
understand that,
you are not welcomed. So we actually are in touch with the manufacturer and trying to see if we can get understanding better if there's a hazard, if there's not a hazard, so.
On-demand hydrogen generation through water split. That's got to be
Electrolysis,
interesting. I would like to
Yeah.
see their safeguards for that.
I would too, because I see so many potential issues.
Well, it could be. I mean,
Yeah.
if things go wrong, just leaks, right? Small leaks
Yep.
and then electrical arcing.
Yeah, so
real bad.
No,
actually,
that doesn't happen.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Damn Smarkies.
But honestly, how we figured that out, and I know we're still in hydrogen, pyrophoric, and reactive, is we were having fire departments respond to carbon monoxide detectors in these factories.
Oh, for
And
hydrogen.
they didn't know it was hydrogen. Had no idea it was
Sensitivity,
hydrogen. Cross sensitivity. Yeah, they started panicking when all their meters were lighting up, and it was a hazmat team, and they finally started making the calls, and we're like, hey, did they have hydrogen there? And they finally figured out the forklifts were not vented properly.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, and it
Makes
was
sense.
yeah. So
Because then battery charging, and then the battery's going to off gas maybe some hydrogen.
Yep.
yeah, because of
off the
sulfuric
CO.
acid. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. Matter of fact, that was even a thing when I first started my career, is that we had battery rooms that had hydrogen detectors. Matter of fact, even at my volunteer firehouse, we had a response for an automatic fire alarm to a TV company, and they used that. And unfortunately, I was like 20 minutes, because I was a chief, I was 20 minutes from getting to the scene, and my assistant chief already had the hazmat team on the way. When I was like, no, we got this. Yeah. And yeah, false detector. So same thing. They were like, why was there hydrogen in the telephone company? And they're like, no, it's the batteries. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize, right? It's not a natural connection for them.
No.
Don't think when you see battery, you don't think it would set off a CO. But you understand and like how the charging and gas release works. Okay,
Right.
it makes sense. Until you had that connection made for you, how would you know?
Yeah. And so I was speaking earlier about that traveling road show we do in the state, myself and a few other people, is we're talking about it. So we're going to individual firehouses in individual counties like once a week. We're their drill night.
Oh, wow.
We talk about meters, and that's one portion we talk about is understanding the hydrogen, and the technology is just getting better. So we want people to understand it better.
Yeah, it is getting better for sure.
Yeah.
Not only that, but meters can be daunting for a lot of people. That's a bit of a nuance, right? The more complicated a meter seems, the less enthusiastic.
They're scared by it.
Right.
Yes.
They don't have
And The craziest thing is when I start talking about meter thresholds and any alarm levels, and you could actually be in a really crappy zone, your meter not going off, petrifies everybody. Because they were like, oh, we're waiting for the thing to beep, right? So, yeah. So we're like, no. You got to be watching that digital output and understanding what's happening. 1% of something.
I can say from the operator standpoint, the manufacturers don't always make it the easiest to learn and use on some of these meters. You got like one button that does 5 different functions, and they're not labeled. It's just a green OK button that you continually cycle through an arrow on.
No, and I would love to get all the salesmen in one room. That's the biggest thing.
Yes.
Every different salesman, and just say, hey, tell me what your meter can do, and I can tell you what it could do for you, right?
Yep.
Pretty common tool, but once you get to anything other than a foregas, I think there's always going to be some level of resistance. Like for us, we have a FTIR, like a ramen gas.
Yep.
Like that's a pretty smart device. It's nice. It's actually pretty ruggedized, and the one we have was pretty ruggedized. It was meant to be installed in smokestacks for power plants, so it can handle crap gas really bad all the time. But the technology is pretty user friendly, but there's like a high resistance to it. So I think like part of the technology, the more resistance there is, because people think like there's a giant learning curve.
Yeah.
They're just intimidated by it's not the thing I'm used to. I don't understand necessarily how it works.
Right.
I'm not going to get this.
I think you said it right, Randy. They're intimidated by it.
So there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of intimidation because there's a lot of meters around. By all means.
Well, that's the biggest thing. Is there's just so many of them. People get so confused on, does this one actually do the same thing as this one? It advertises the same type of a meter, but different brands function so differently.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. And that's a great point, because so I was actually trying to get a ramen for our hazmat team, and the price was like, okay, that to some people it's not going to be great, but I was trying to use it so it could be used across different departments, meaning that like you use in the chem ops, and it was there. We were testing it out. It was working good, but I couldn't sell the price because I think the first one was like 12,000. I think it was 12,000 to start off with, yeah. And they're like, well, we've got this meter, and I'm like, hey, but this meter might do a little better in understanding what's going on. It's a different technology, and I couldn't sell it.
That's always a tough sell for municipalities, for sure.
We were lucky with our FTIR because we were able to do the thing that you were talking about. We were able to say, hey, look, if environmental EHS is to borrow it for sewer sampling of sewer gases air monitoring, they could come borrow this thing. And then it was an instant, yep, you betcha, that makes sense, because we want to be compliant and we're under regulatory controls and restrictions, and we want to be a good neighbor. Makes sense. Let's get us a really nice gas monitoring tool.
Right.
That's how we got our first one. And environmental's like, well, we want our own. And
Yeah,
so
we
they were
like
able
it.
to
We want our own now.
Right, they were able to justify the cost, and they got their own, so it's great.
And yet somehow it seems like theirs was a smaller version.
Yes,
I don't know why.
It
It's
is
much
small,
easier to carry.
Yeah. So I got a quick story for this, because I'm always a good manipulator when we have to get hazmat equipment. You have to be like finesse, right? If you've got the wrong person. So I had a very cheap boss, and I would have to write disrotations on things when I needed it to prove it, so on and so forth. So finally, after 10 years, this was just to buy a PID. And that was like the most basic thing. Yeah, laugh. That was a thing. And so finally, we got sent to Vermont to work, and that team actually had one. And so I was sitting with my corporate boss. I'm like, yeah, I couldn't believe they finally had this meter we were trying to get, and we're all having dinner that night. And I'm like, he was like, why don't you just give me a price and I'll buy it? And I'm like, oh, that's great. So my boss was like there, and I know he was shaking his head. And I'm like, 1 month later, I had a pit in my hand.
that's awesome.
Yeah, I pissed someone off, but you know what? It's for life and safety. We're actually needing it. So, and then the older
there's
guys
a lot
didn't
of
want to use
uses
it.
for it.
Yeah. Oh, in our world, it should be the basic tool.
Yes.
It really should be. Yeah.
Use it quite a bit for not only emergency response, but we'll do it for tank entry, verifying that the tank is free of solvents and stuff.
Solvent tanks.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because you're not picking them up on the foregas. Unless you're in
No.
a real crappy area where possibly LEL, but you need the PID for those solvent vapors.
Right, and then you can improve it down to part per million levels. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Yeah, so we've advanced. We're doing part per million and part per billion for the multi-array. So that actually worked pretty good.
Very nice.
So yeah, very well. So
Exactly. Like I think we talked about this before. Run two separate ones. You're standalone. I have a bundle. You run the 10.6 and 11.7.
Yep.
That's because there's some solvents and that produce gases that won't by 10.
correct.
Gotta go.
So I went
But
to 11.7.
did you?
Right.
Okay, yeah.
I loved it. Didn't have to do correction factors. It was right there. Except for it took me a month to come in. It was coming in from a Long Island. I should just had Bobby drive it up. But yeah, and so by the month I got it, have it installed, I only got 4 months out of it, and then it expired. So I was using it that much, and the bulb was so quick. So I actually stopped using that, and I went back to a 10.6 because I was spending, and it was ridiculous money that I was spending on the bulb. So
Yeah, it's super expensive to upgrade at 10.
Yep.
I think we talked last time where I said we extend the lifetime of our 11.7s by in between uses, keep it in a dry box. So we have like a Pelican case, it's sealed, so it doesn't let any moisture in, and we have dry right moisture absorbent in the box with it. So it preserves our bulb. So for that 6 month bulb, we're actually getting like almost up to a year out of it.
Yeah.
So that's just by keeping
so
it in
I
a
keep
dry
it in
box.
that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And on the flip side, that's the reason we have 2 of them as well, is we can extend the life of that. Because if we have a pretty good idea that there's no point to have the 11.7, we're just using the 10.6 and keeping that life as well.
Yep.
Yeah, I loved 11.7 because you were reading everything. You didn't have to worry about the correction factor. It was almost at 0 at that point.
Keeping it simple.
It was keeping it simple, yeah. Versus 10.6, you got to do correction factors. And I would never go down to a 9, or was it 9.4 or 9.6? I wouldn't even think of using that at
it's
that point.
gross. He's too much.
No,
3 minute
unless you're
everything
using
is
it,
hard
you
to
need a
get
3-year bulb or something. You know, one specific chemical, and that's what you're using. Fine.
Most of us are firefighters. We can't do math.
I would say, who
No.
wants to do math in bunker gear or a plastic suit for real?
No,
That's
That's
when
for
you're
a chemist to do.
right. You can radio that back to me, maybe, but I'm just no one wants to do math.
No.
No, and that's why I always kept cheat sheets in the boxes. I always printed out Excel sheets. Matter of fact, that PID, remember how it was a TN, was it 106 correction factor? I actually turned it into an Excel file. So I could just pull it up on my phone. Yeah,
perfect.
and if I was using the 0.7 bulb, I just highlight it. So it worked out very well. And I started making those cheat sheets up for all my meters, so all the firefighters and all the hazmat guys can just pull it up, and there it is.
And we were never that elegant. We have a binder in hazmat vehicle. They have all the correction
Same
factors.
thing. We used to have it too. Yeah,
And I
absolutely.
tell
that's
you
what
what,
we'll
at
do.
3
So-
o'clock in the morning, it's a pain in the ass even to use that.
Especially when it's 0 degrees outside.
I'll tell you. We usually get at
Yeah.
least one of those a year where it's like single digit, if not negative. You have to go outside and do something.
You're just sitting
Well,
there
here's
going,
the
yeah, close enough. Yep, it was that.
Well, here's the crazy part. You got those 0 temperatures. That vapor should be very low, right?
Agreed.
Yep. It should.
It works in your benefit, actually. So even though it's a bitch, talk about it, it works in your vapor chemistry, physical property wise, right?
Agreed. Yep.
Yeah.
Makes things a lot calmer. But once again, the cold temperature is sometimes why I had to come out in the first place.
Yes.
One
cracks,
specific
leaks,
instance,
breaks.
we have like metal O-rings, and they will shrink in cold weather.
Yes.
So it allows for gas passage.
Yep.
Womp
Yeah.
womp.
And that is actually the manufacturer's recommended gasket, believe it or not.
Yeah. Yeah, and you have to go by that because if you use something made over the 3D printer, somebody made it from another company, it's completely out of spec, and next thing you know, you're responsible, right?
Yeah, you're the liable party, not
Yeah.
not the manufacturer.
Absolutely. Go through that every day. So,
All risk benefit analysis. Lesser
absolutely.
evil.
Absolutely.
Well, as much fun as we're having, I believe that's about as much time we have for this episode. But I think we're going to have another one, to be honest.
I think so.
This floated by
Absolutely.
so quickly. I mean, the conversation's super fun. It flows naturally, and time just melts away, man. I definitely need a part 3 to
Absolutely.
talk shop. But what I would
Yeah.
like to do with part 3 is, Steve, I'd like to have you pick our brains. talked a lot in your end about your stuff. Be fair for you to pick our brains about stuff, how we do.
Absolutely, especially with my new journey next week going into your guys' neck of the woods. It's going to be a lot of questions, and I know that I may have you guys as aides at this point because they pretty much were like, "Here it is, guys. It's all you."
That's a beautiful point about why we started the show, right? Is because there isn't that kind of like network sharing, camaraderie, build apart.
Yes.
What I would, by all means,
absolutely.
Man,
Oh, yeah.
we got 3 friends.
We are open
always,
books.
brother.
Although I will say, you did send us a picture of an interesting tote that I have zero information on because I have not seen anything like that.
I was wanting to talk about that.
Yeah,
we might have to get to that next time.
Yeah, we'll say that. We'll start off part 3 with that, and then we'll turn over to Steve for peppering out some questions.
Yeah, if you want after the show, we can talk. Just and go through that. Interesting stuff.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, perfect.
Yes.
Well, then, I think what we'll do is we'll say if anyone has any questions for Steve or the 3 of us, Steve, where can they send those questions to?
Oh, as always, you can email us at hazmatharder@gmail.com or industrialstrength@thehazmatguys.com.
Beautiful.
And I believe we're down to a more streamlined platform of listening. You can still always leave a comment in the YouTube link and find us on Spotify.
Yeah.
Solely on Spotify.
All right. Listen to us on your ride into work, maybe.
No, that's actually what I do. That's actually what I do.
Oh, beautiful, man. Yeah, because that's what I did too for many, many years is a podcast on the way into work. It was better than radio. You learn something. You have the chance to learn something.
Absolutely.
Well, Steve, thanks for coming on. Once again, it was another beautiful conversation.
It was. I agree.
Yep. And we've only not even hit the icing, man. There's the whole other part that we haven't talked about yet, right?
Agreed. So until next time, we'll have you on again. I would love talking more shop.
All right.
Talk to you later,
guys.
Until next time, Hazmat Harder.
For the rest of you,
Hazmat Harder.
Hazmat Harder.